What is up, my intergalactic friends? Welcome back here to another Infinite Galaxy content. Today, we are going to look into range and how does range benefit you as a player in Infinite Galaxy. So today, let's break things down real quick. When we look into the frigates, frigates have the shortest range out of every warships. This is why the frigates will need to get closer in the battlefield. As you can see, the range is at 5.0. When you go into the destroyers, the range will be a 10.0 range. Now, even if you switch it out to a different weapon, it will still be a 10.0. Even with the frigates, you change it to missile, will still be in the range of 5. So cruisers will have a range of 15. All right, so cruisers in here, range of 15 as well for kinetic. So here's the biggest thing. Range plays a major role within the game. If you have a farther range, you can actually shoot first without getting damage. So this is why cruisers have been, kind of like in demand in Infinite Galaxy, because players have really relied on range. Cruisers have the natural ability of having a longer range compared to the other warships. Now let's take a look at flagships that provides warship buffs on range. When we look into Hades, Hades has an ability to increase the range of the warships. So as you can see in here, the range of destroyer is being increased by 34%. Now, we've mentioned that destroyers have a 10% range. So we gotta add that 34% range for the destroyer. So you're actually going to get about 13.4 range for the destroyer. Now, it's still not good, right? Because in this scenario, your destroyers are still not as good in the range-wise with the cruisers. The cruisers have 15.0, the destroyers have 13. So in reality here, the cruisers still have an upper hand. But if you do this type of combination, what I'm doing right now is I have another one to give us some range, which is the Titan, a 25.2% range. So let's do that, 25.2, and then you have to add it with 34%. You're actually getting about 59.2% range. So with that being said, you'll have about like 16 range. So now you're like one range further from the cruisers. All right. Now, there's a few more things in here that I want to show you. I'm going to try to explain these as best as I could. With my range in the destroyer, it's actually giving me 62.2%. Now, I get an additional range in here as well within the combat. Warship range plus 3%. That's allowing me to get that 62% range in Infinite Galaxy by using destroyers. So, there was a video that I released that we battled Wizard Docent. He is one of the biggest player in Infinite Galaxy. With the range that I have, I was able to defeat some of his fleets. I struggled in the frigates, which is, interesting because being a destroyer, so he definitely has a much better frigate. Now, when we battled a cruiser, I definitely dominated still because of my range. Even with the frigates, it took a lot of time for the frigates to get closer to hit my destroyers because of my insane range. They had to fly in closer to get into the combat position to damage my frigates. I wish I could show you the replay, but apparently if you save the videos on the other like BlueStacks, which I don't have it here, it's not showing what the favorite is, but you might want to just watch the previous video that we did. Now, another thing that gives warship range is Athena. As you can see here, we will have a 25.2% range for the warship as well. This makes a huge boost towards the warships. So let's say you are, wanting to run a cruiser, and you want to have a super long range. What you can even do is your second fleet. Maybe you can do an Athena and a Titan. You can do that type of combination and increase the range. Or if you are running with destroyers like me, well, I'll probably do a Hades and Titan for one of my, one of my sequence. And then another thing that I can do, you can do a Radamanthus, which allows us to get some range as well. And then you can pair it up with Athena as well. Now, if you're looking into the purple versions of it, now you can look into Nemesis, which is the same thing as Athena, and you can increase some range. But of course, the range is much greater increase when you are using a legendary ship or a gold ship. So range plays a major factor in the game. Now, there's a lot of things as well. Maybe in the future, we'll go talk about the range as well between the weapon. Because if you take a look into this, differences of weapon, just different tiers have different range. And even like missiles in here has an 18 range, and my laser is 22 range. So just by saying that, you know, we can definitely have an advantage of whatever weapon types that you are actually using within this, setup that you have. Now, when we look into the defense in here, there's really no differences between range. So it doesn't really matter if you're going to make any switches in your spaceport defense. But the biggest thing in here is really, being able to shoot first and taking no damage in the first few seconds, maybe first 5 seconds. We don't really know how long it takes because there's really no battle logs that shows turn by turn of the attacks within this game. But if there is ever a crew that is, I don't think there is a crew that's benefiting us for range. But if there is a crew that provides range, that is going to be OP as hell. And I am definitely going to get that. So far right now, this is why the destroyers with the Hades and Titan is super OP because of this combination. People in this game has disregarded destroyers. But I have proven it in some of the battles in here that how awesome destroyers are. So it really depends on you. If you want to go for destroyers, it's fast mobility, high range. It's an insane killer. With that being said, my intergalactic friends, thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you have learned something new today in Infinite Galaxy.